Hello users, and welcome to another episodic installation of Above It All. This is the series in which I talk about political politicking, and this video is going to be this is a response to a general sentiment, and I'm not entirely I've got a few things outlined that on a notepad that I don't even have open. Of what I wanted to talk about, but this is going to be mostly freeformed. And of course, the video title is, will voting third party or Green Party or Socialist Party or whatever, is voting third party going to teach the Democratic establishment a lesson? So I noticed that there is a speck on my glasses. I'm going to do that real quick. And I'm just going to let you know, I don't think so. That's not going to teach the Democrats a lesson. Now, unless it were unified. And this is the thing I've said before, is last time, I've gone through the 2016 primary. There's still a speck on my glasses. What the hell? I've gone through the 2016 primary, right? So I'm here, I'm a veteran of Bernie getting shafted, so to speak. And I voted Jill Stein last time around. But last time around, I was in Maryland. I think I'm looking at the camera, by the way, I can't tell. Maryland is a solid blue state, so I was thinking this speck is pasted on here. My whole thought process at the time was that my vote doesn't really matter anyway, so I might as well try to get that 5% for federal funding. And now I live in North Carolina. North Carolina's kind of a swing state, anything can happen here. So I'm going to vote Joe Biden. And I kind of came with this decision over the past few months. And I might change my mind. Anything is possible. I might change my mind. So I reserve the right to do that. So if I do change my mind later, you can't say, you can't do that. I think there's a manufactured war going on. And I might talk about this in another video. I think there is a manufactured war going on of people who hate Biden but are going to vote for him anyway, and people who hate Biden and aren't going to vote for him. There was this huge fucking stupid fucking cringe battle on Twitter that was honestly really fun to read, where Mehdi Hassan and Kyle Kalinske were just going at each other, and basically it amounted to they both hate Biden, and yet they're just arguing over tactics and strategy, but trying to do moral posturing, and it was just super cringe. Kyle and Mehdi were both doing well, I've written more about how bad Biden is, and then Kyle's like, no, I've made more videos about how bad he is, and then Mehdi's like, did you not watch my podcast, good sir? Because I did a 30-minute segment about how bad Biden is. A bunch of fake, stupid fucking posturing, and it's Jesus Christ, you're two relatively prominent people nominally on the left, you could have had such a more productive conversation, but instead it's just petty squabbles. And I noticed this all over Twitter. I noticed this in a lot of Discords that I'm in. I noticed this, just even with a lot of my Bernie friends. I've noticed a lot of people, they're getting super reactionary. And this is just something you gotta keep away from it. So if you've already disliked this video and you're mad at me and you're in the middle of writing your comments, how dare you, just hold the phone, dude. Hold the fucking phone. So this video is about, will voting third party or voting for the Green Party teach the Democrats a lesson? That's what we were told last time. That was the strategy last time. And we got an even worse fucking nominee. At least fucking Hillary Clinton's a woman. At least, she's not she's not a rapist, but, she's married to one. But anyway, she's terrible. She's garbage. And so is Joe Biden. But I would say Joe Biden, policy-wise, is probably a lot worse than Hillary Clinton. However, I think maybe Joe Biden's maybe more amenable to policy changes. Joe Biden's kind of a guy that doesn't have nearly as high of an ego that Hillary Clinton does. But that's not really the main thing here. The point was, voting third party in 2016 did nothing. It did absolutely nothing. We're in a worse predicament than we were then, and it did nothing. So here's the basic thing. Here's the line here. The Democratic establishment does not give a shit about you, does not give a shit about poor people. It does not give a shit about minorities. It does not give a shit about anybody but themselves. The DNC, the Democrats, the whole organizational structure that they've got, this is why Obama lost 1,000 seats over the course of his presidency nationwide, was that they don't give a fuck about power. They only care about money. That's it. They only care about money. So, what have they been doing the past 4 years? They've been screaming, crying about Trump all day, every day. It's great news. They've all got a podcast. Every Democrat fuck shit has a podcast. They talk about Trump all day. They go on CNN, they go on MSNBC, and they get paid their fucking fees for speaking for 3 minutes with a grid of fucking morons like themselves. This is their wheelhouse. They will get paid no matter what happens. So the way I see it, and this is my logic, and this is why I kind of at this point am saying I'm probably going to vote for Joe Biden. That's an 80% chance, I would say. I'm not fully convinced. I can change. But at this point, I'm going to vote for Joe Biden. If the election were today, I would vote for Joe Biden. And again, I can pull the Kyle Kalinske out here and say, good sir, and madam, and anybody else, I have made the most videos about how bad Joe Biden is, and therefore I am qualified more than you to tell you what I think. Like, I don't give a shit, right? Like, that doesn't mean anything to me. My opinion boils down to the fact that Trump or Biden will be president. I'm sorry. Howie Hawkins, we do not have a 37% majority of people, like plurality rather, that would vote for Howie Hawkins over the other two fuckers. I'm sorry. We aren't there yet. And it sucks, right? Like, I totally thought Bernie would be the nominee. I 1000% with all of my energy and being and everything thought that Bernie would win this. And I didn't know that they would steal the election. I always thought that was a distant possibility. But turns out they did. We're fucked, alright? And again, look at the fucking gains that we made. Don't look at the losses. Don't look at the losses. Look at the gains. The discourse over the last 5 years has when I first got into politics, right? 5 years ago, when I was like 18, 19, right? It was just looking at things and it's like, yeah, politics is useless because like anytime you talk about politics, it's the deficit and the budget, and it's like boring garbage. And then Bernie comes along, completely shifts the narrative, and that's the narrative we're still dealing with. And this is the thing, is either Biden or Trump will be president. I'm sorry, we don't have this almighty working force plurality. And this is the other thing, is that electoralism doesn't matter that much. Like, instead of wasting 38 fucking years talking about who you're going to vote for, you should be trying to work on dual power. You should be trying to work on outside of electoralism power structures. You got to work on getting to that 30% that would say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not voting for the Democrat. I'm going to vote third party. If you can get 30% of voters in November to vote against the two-party system, fuck yeah. Then we're talking. Right? Then we're in a situation where I'm on board, but we're not in that situation. And again, if over the next few months that happens, I will get on board. If you can show me any sort of thing that says, hell, Howie Hawkins has got 15% in a poll, 20%, something like that, a good number, I will 1000% get on board with the Green Party. I've done it in 2016. Obviously I agree with all their policies. I will 1000% get on that board. But my point here, and I know I'm all over the place, I'm rambling, that's just how I make videos. Either Trump or Biden will be president, and that's just kind of what we're dealing with. If Trump is president, the Democratic establishment will continue to get paid. Their paychecks are going to happen no matter what. The fucking Neera Tandons of the world, they're going to get paid. People that have podcasts, they're going to get paid. They're going to make fucking Trump, this and Trump, no, Trump. They're going to do that every single day, no matter what fucking happens. Even if Trump loses and Biden's the president, they're still going to do it, because Trump's going to probably make a podcast, right? They're going to get paid either fucking way. But this goes down to the core difference between Trump and Biden. Biden will not do all the shitty, dastardly things that Trump is doing. Trump is a neo-fascist fucking administration. We all know this. I'm not, like, again, I'm not talking down to anybody. This is the thing that's really obnoxious to me, is when people talk down to people. It's like, just vote shaming is just stupid. I'm just giving you my opinion, and you can disagree with it. And honestly, like, again, if anyone wants to debate me, again, I'm open to all debate challengers. I accidentally covered this up, but boom, top right. Add me on Discord. I will talk to you for like 12 hours. I don't give a fuck. I talked to a Trump supporter for 3 hours the other day. It was fun. I like talking to people I disagree with. So again, I'm open to debate here. This is not me preaching like, the show's called Above It All, but I'm going to actually drop the character for a bit here. Like, I'm not better than you. We're all equal. I think voter shame is stupid. We should focus on something else. But really, who are the victims? If you try to teach the Democrats a lesson, who will be the victims of that? Poor, working class people, minorities. And yeah, sure, it may radicalize them. It may bring us closer to that 30% majority faster. But the human suffering, I just don't think it's worth it. We have right now 30% plurality, I should say. We have right now a very good base of progressives. Most people, 70% of the people in the Democratic primary that voted, would be okay with not only a single-payer system, but completely abolishing private health insurance. That is unthinkable 5 years ago, right? That is unfucking fathomable 5 years ago. But here we are. So if we have a Democrat in the White House, what this does is it makes the Democrat enemy number one. Yeah, sure, Republicans are still going to exist, right? Yeah, sure, Mitch McConnell might still hold on to the Senate. Yeah, sure, Biden is probably going to lose, so it's just a waste of talking about this to begin with. But, right? But Democrats will now be enemy number one. That was kind of the situation we were dealing with in 2015, 2016. And then Trump won and reset all of our progress as far as that kind of game goes. The resistance Democrats, I'm sorry, they're more of a population than we are right now. But if you get rid of resistance Democrats, right, there's no such thing as #resist anymore. That's just the administration. So the administration moves back to the left, again, which is just somewhere in the fucking far right, but like, it at least pulls us back a little bit. It gets rid of the blinders, right? We can then attack Biden all day, every day, and I'll be there. I'm still gonna make Biden videos. I'm still gonna attack him all the fucking time, right? But we can do that, and then we can show everyone, like, look, this guy's president. We're not being held hostage by Donald Trump anymore. We want fucking good shit now. And that makes the argument a lot easier. Getting rid of the resistance Democrats as a force to be reckoned with, paves the way. Biden will probably only be a one-term president anyway. Like, look at his cognitive decline. It gives us a perfect position for 4 years from now. If we can all find someone like Nina Turner, that's my pick, but if we can find someone to rally behind in 2024 so that they don't install someone like Andrew Cuomo to fuck us over even further, I think this can work. This can totally work. I don't think that voting Green Party will teach the Democrats a lesson, because they're going to get fucking paid no matter what. They're going to probably get more money if Trump wins. That's the thing, is like, and again, if you live in a blue state, vote Howie Hawkins. Do it. You're lucky. You fucking won. If you live in a red state, vote Howie Hawkins. But if you live in a state that's even kind of a swing state, you can vote who you want. I'm not going to fucking shame you into it, but my thinking is that, like, Biden's just going to give us more progress than Trump. But you can also make the argument that in 2024 people will be more radicalized. I get the counter arguments, and then Trump's not going to be able to run for a third term, but will he not be able to? I don't know. And what's going to happen? Like, what's going to happen, right? Seriously, look at this pandemic, right? Trump fired the pandemic response team years ago. What if he didn't? We'd probably be in a better situation. If Hillary were president right now, there would be significantly less deaths because of the coronavirus. And that's factual. And it's just one of those things where, again, I get the accelerationist argument. I do. I was that kind of, I kind of had that in my mind when I voted for Jill Stein last time around. But I live in a swing state now. At least a relatively in-play swing state. It's not a huge one, but it's just one where I can't negate, or, I can't neglect the fact that theoretically, anything can happen, right? Like, it's just one of those things where the main argument I see is like, oh, the Democrats don't deserve our vote. They don't deserve it. Well, guess what? Vote for them anyway. and be a thorn in their side? Fucking occupy the White House. Like, fucking get an organization like fucking the fucking Unite the Right rally opposition that happened where there's like 1 million people in Washington, D.C. Do that, except call it Unite the Left and fucking tackle down the fucking White House barricades. You know what I mean? Demand Medicare for all and so forth. That's way more fucking likely to happen under a fucking Biden administration than a Trump administration. In a Trump administration, we'd all probably be fucking shot. You know, maybe a lot of us would be shot under a Biden one, but it's just one of those things where it's just, at this point, right, at this fucking point, and who knows what they're going to do. Again, the future is uncertain. I don't know. I'll change my mind probably a few times. But at this point, the lesson argument, Democrats need to earn our votes. You know, they don't deserve them. We need to teach them a lesson. I'm sorry, dude, but what lesson? What lesson are you teaching them? Again, if you can unite 15 to 20%, you know, something like that, a good starter range, I'm all on board. And I get the argument of withholding your vote to make them feel that they need to, you know, give you concessions. I totally 1000% am on board with that. But it's just one of those things where, again, I'm just making this video. This is like just a video. You know, rhetorically speaking, I do get it. If it's all rhetoric, I get it. I'm just, you know, I'm not going to make my fucking YouTube channel a fucking psyop game for 100 fucking 200 viewers. You know, I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to tell you what I think. Now, sure, again, the rhetoric is good. Keep it up. But at the end of the day, I mean, they're not going to learn a lesson. I'm sorry, right? They're just not. It's just not going to happen. So that, you know, with given that reality, I can't do it. I'm sorry. And again, maybe I'll change my mind. I don't know. I'm open to arguments. If you want to have a conversation with me, 1,000,000,000% open to arguments. And again, I'm unsure of this myself, but as of this moment, they're not going to learn a lesson. And that was my main sticking point factor last time. No lesson has been learned, and most Democrats are just richer now under a Trump administration. So, right? I don't know. Not to mention, again, like the right-wing fucking operation going on is fucking horrifying if you look into it. And it's just, I'm sorry, that's just my opinion. So, again, let me know what you think. Feel free to debate me if you're open to it. And, I don't know. Start thinking about things that aren't voting, because, I mean, that's going to be more important at the end of the day. 13% of the fucking country supported, you know, a revolution, and now look at us, right? Sure, it was a shitty revolution by slave owners, just because they didn't want to pay taxes and they wanted people to pay taxes to them. But 13%. If you can get us a 13% of the population that are militantly leftist, and I'm on board with it, count me in. If you're going to do like a thing, like I am 1000% on board with that. But if we can start getting those kind of numbers that are like willing to occupy Milwaukee, which I don't even know if there's going to be a fucking convention anymore. That was my kind of backup plan. I don't even know if they're going to do one. I don't know. What are we going to do? I don't know. We're fucked, right? We're fucked. I don't know. That's my thing, is I don't know. So, let me know what you think, and see if you can guide me. Maybe, you know, again, I'm amenable to all these arguments. I'm with you on everything. I just don't think they're going to learn a lesson. And that, for me, in 2016, was my biggest point on voting for Jill Stein. Was at least I'll teach them something, you know, that number. And it's like, none of these people have learned anything. They're wealthier and wealthier and wealthier. They're more popular than ever. Oops. And I you know, I don't know.